Boosie heard that. Boosie's like, wait a minute. I'm on here way more than Tekashi. Tekashi's a snitch. I'm a real nigga. I should get paid more. You see what I'm saying? So now he's pocket watching. Now Boosie's pocket watching Tekashi, but he wouldn't have known to pocket watch him if Vlad wouldn't have said nothing. He said he got 25,000. Now Aries Spears hears that. Wait a minute. Boosie been getting 25 and I only been getting 4, but I do more than. And I think this whole shit could have been avoided if Vlad just didn't tell the numbers.
Lord Jamar talks about Vlad beefing with Boosie and Aries Spears. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
You were one of the biggest draws to Vlad in the early days, and there's been like big issues happening with Vlad. Boosie, Aries, Jamar, but not you having issues, but like, what did you think about that whole Boosie wanting more money, Aries wanting more money, paying for interviews? Because I mean, I do think this is much like it's an overcorrection, right? Because in the old days, people used to do interviews for free. Them joints would get like 1 million views, and nobody was getting paid except the platform. And now artists or just regular commenters are like, nah, I need to get paid. What are your thoughts?
Well, as far as that whole Vlad, Boosie, and Aries Spears and all of that, you know, that was just a chain of pocket watching, you know? And I think that the one that is to be blamed is my man Vlad. Because I know Vlad, right? And there's a certain part of him that I think his ego wanted to let people know how much he paid Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to put that out there, but he was respectful. He understood the situation, but I think the other guys really put it on this level to where Vlad had no choice but to talk numbers. You want to put out certain information about the business in front of the scenes? Then okay, I have to go back and really put out the numbers that I gave you. So it really started with Boosie, trickled down to Aries, and now everybody is pocket watching. Even if Vlad was alluding to Tekashi being the highest paid guest, he never put out those numbers. People should have stood in their place. So you talk junk about Vlad, the ego's going to get in the way, and of course, he's going to lash out. But if you don't talk numbers, Vlad, he going to keep everything behind the scenes. I don't blame Vlad for this.
Since he never probably paid that much for an interview prior to that, he kind of wanted it to be known how much he paid. And that was his downfall right there. Because now once Boosie heard that, Boosie's like, wait a minute. I'm on here way more than Tekashi. Tekashi's a snitch. I'm a real nigga. I should get paid more. You see what I'm saying? So now he's pocket watching. Now Boosie's pocket watching Tekashi, but he wouldn't have known to pocket watch him if Vlad wouldn't have said nothing. Okay? You could say that you...
Again, that's fair, but at the end of the day, if you're Boosie, you understand Vlad is running a business. He's not running a friendship. He has to do what he has to do to increase his platform. So if you got to pay Tekashi X amount to boost the podcast and Vlad TV by 2 or 3X, viewership, revenue, everything for that interview, you got to do what you got to do. Boosie's too locked in about being a real dude instead of being a real businessman. Again, he jumped out the window, had to say what he had to say, put it out there, and now he looks like a fool. The Vlad curse is real.
Okay? You could say that you paid people, but you ain't got to tell exactly how much you paid. You see what I'm saying? Once you start doing that, once people say, oh, this ain't no favored nation shit, like people's getting different pay scales and all of that type of shit, that's when the pocket watching starts coming. And there's different levels of pocket watching, even when people have bread. You know what I mean? So. Boosie's watching Tekashi. Then once Boosie stepped off, and then hang on, He said he got 25,000. Now Aries Spears hears that. Wait a minute. Boosie been getting 25? And I only been getting 4? But I do more than... But then people in the comments tell me... You know what I mean? Like, it gets all crazy. And I think this whole shit could have been avoided if Vlad just didn't tell the numbers.
No, it could have been avoided if Boosie didn't put out that information, which was a domino effect for Aries. And I'm sure other people were inquiring to Vlad, like, what's up with these numbers? What's going on? People spoke on it, but they kept it cool with Vlad. I just think everybody else really jumped out the window. And again, with Vlad, you can talk about his ego, whatever the case may be. Sometimes it hurts him, but sometimes it could help him out in a good way. I think the back and forth with Boosie and Vlad, it really did help Vlad as far as his social media presence. A lot of people consider him a culture vulture, but no matter what you got to say about Vlad, he was right when it came to Boosie and Aries and the money that they wanted. The metrics and all that didn't justify a raise in pay. Vlad won the beef between Boosie and Aries.
Did you ever think like, man, I should have got paid? Did you ever pocket watch?
Of course, you know, back in the people's like, yo, you know what I mean? Yo, your get wild views. Like, yo, you should have got paid. And this, listen, at the time, you know what I mean? It was what it was. Like, you know what I mean? I did come at him in some of the earlier, it's like, yo, you keep calling me back. Like, yo, what's up with some bread? And he's like, oh, I don't pay for interviews and like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that was the time when nobody was paying. And he was like, listen, you know, and I'm gonna keep it real. He was like, listen, you know, if you don't want to do them no more, I understand. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is where you have to like weigh your shit. He's like, well, do I say this and just make it all about money, or is there value to what I'm doing? Is what I'm doing revolutionary? You see what I'm saying? Because who the you know coming on the internet that's really drop jewels, that really like give you some shit that you can use in your life in a positive way, as opposed.
And what Lord Jamar did was he started his podcast. Don't know if he had it after he left Vlad or during Vlad, but what he did was, let me move the fan base I garnered with Vlad. Let me move him over to the Lord Jamar podcast. He was doing this thing with Godfrey and another guest that they had. So at the end of the day, he did what he had to do. Boosie looks like he's trying to do it now with the Patreon thing. I don't know if that's working. Don't know if he's consistent enough to really scale out that business, but he was just too late to the party. You should have been had your platform put together and then shout your platform out every time you were doing Vlad over the last 5 or 6 years. That's where Boosie effed up. With Aries Spears, he has a podcast, so at least he's trying. Lord Jamar, he was really the first to really put it out there, and he moved the audience over to his pod. That's what you got to do if you're on a No Jumper, if you're on a Vlad, and these bigger platforms. Have your content in place so you can move the people over.
To, you know, teaching you how to stand on milk crates or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, so I felt like what I was doing was valuable. And also, you know, visibility brings you to the bag. You know what I mean? Like out of sight, out of mind type of shit.
It's funny because Adam22 and Vlad did a sit down and they were talking about, Adam was saying that Dame Dash one time wanted $500. This was back in the day to do like to get an Uber or you know, eat or something. And Adam was like, I don't do that. To him at the time, it's like $500 is a steal now. You get Dame for $500, you like going
Happy
to Applebee's.
Like exactly.
Yeah, you like, because you're making at least 3,000 off them, or maybe more.
But see, not to cut you off, but see, as somebody who has fucked with the YouTube shit and understands kind of the metrics and all of that type of, you know, it's not easy to make this money. And I've had people who ask me for money and all that type of shit, come on my show and all this type of shit. And it's like, listen, you know, I don't know who the fuck you think I am, but, you know.
The look.
You know, I mean, the most I've ever paid is, matter of fact, I'm not even going to say.
Okay.
But it hasn't been that much.
Lord Vlad. Oh, yeah.
It hasn't been that much.
Yeah, paying for guests is tough. Vlad really started that, or at least made it popular. Paying guests. He did it, I guess, since 2020 and beyond, or maybe a little after that. But once you start losing guests, and then you have recurring guests, it only makes sense to pay them, especially when you're able to scale up Vlad TV. It ain't like no DVD thing he was doing back in the day. This is a real legit business that's bringing him in millions of dollars. He does have a staff, so you know what? If I can pay the staff, they can have health insurance and all that good stuff. Can I start paying the repeat guests? Then he's doing it at a high level. He's even paying first-time people. You got to scale up to make a lot of money like Boosie, but if you can get the views, if you can get the people coming back for more, you're going to get paid from Vlad. Boosie had a great gig, and I think he kind of fumbled that bag, had his back and forth, and now the Vlad curse is on Boosie and Aries Spears. They got to build up their own platforms in order to get the big-time money they were getting at Vlad. But Vlad isn't at fault for this. I blame the others. Vlad stood on business. People didn't like it, but he destroyed Boosie and Aries Spears.